This is Support is Sexy, episode 332. Ego is the enemy and faith is your friend. Welcome to Support is Sexy. I'm your host, Elayne Fluker, entrepreneur, author, and founder of Chic Rebellion Media. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, I interview inspiring women entrepreneurs who share their wins and their lessons to help you take your business and your life to the next level and create something sexy. Here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Support is Sexy. I'm excited to have you here. It just would not be the same without you. And you know, I've been thinking a lot about faith lately. As you heard in the intro, today's episode is all about ego is the enemy and faith is your friend. It sounds simple, but we all need that reminder. And this is something that I have had to remind myself of quite a bit in the past month, I would say. Focusing on faith. Now, Ego is the Enemy is a name of a great book by Ryan Holiday. I highly recommend it. So read that if you haven't read it. But we all know about ego, right? Ego is the thing that stops us from getting outside of our comfort zone. It wants to keep us safe. That's what it's all about. Some people say ego means edging God out, whatever you think it means. But really, it's all about trying to keep you safe. And in a way, it can keep you small. Now, people think people have a huge ego, this outsized ego. So they're acting like they're whatever, being bigger than they are. That's part of ego too. But I think even that is something of playing it safe. You're acting bigger than you need to or acting so big because you want to be safe. You want everyone to think you have it all together. There are a lot of things with ego. For most of us, though, I believe ego stops us from going after things that we really, really want simply because we're afraid of what might happen. So we don't even have evidence that something's going to happen. We're afraid of what might happen. And usually what we're afraid of is rejection. So think about things that you want to do, things that you want to create, that business you've been thinking about, that idea, that move you want to make, whatever you're thinking about. It is probably your ego that is keeping you playing small, that is holding you back, keeping you comfortable, trying to tell you, no, you better not do that because that might not work out. No, you better not do that because people might laugh at you or people might ignore you or people might judge you. That is what the ego does. At least it does in my case. That is the thing. It tries to keep me playing it small. Here's the thing though. Faith is your friend. If ego is the enemy, faith is your friend. And as I said, I've been thinking a lot about faith lately. I guess more so, I've been practicing or working my faith muscle. Faith is a muscle, I believe. You got to work it out like every other muscle for it to get stronger and stronger. Otherwise, it will just atrophy. So you got to work your faith. And faith is your friend. When fear and ego get in the way, turn to faith. Now, this isn't a spiritual conversation. I should say this isn't a religious conversation, but I believe it is a spiritual conversation. So for me, faith plays a role in everything that I do with my business, my work, who I am personally. So it is really something's going on where I'm getting much more centered around faith. And I will share with you, it's funny, I'm actually listening to the book, The Universe Has Your Back by Gabrielle Bernstein. Highly recommend it. It's great, especially on audio tape. I listened to it. I said audio tape. How old am I? Especially on Audible. I listen to it every night before I go to bed usually, or in the evenings, I should say, when I'm sort of winding down. Been thinking about faith a lot lately. And within that book, of course, she talks a lot about faith, spirituality, the universe having your back, obviously. But there was a particular chapter, and I can't remember the number right now, but she talked about creating a faith prayer. So something specifically around really reinstating or reminding you about your faith. Highly recommend doing this, coming up with something that it doesn't have to be formal, anything short, whether you think of it as a prayer or an affirmation if you're not a religious or spiritual person. Some kind of affirmation when you get in those moments of feeling fearful, or when you get in those moments where your ego or that inner critic is telling you not to go for something, you turn to this passage, sentence, even if it's just a couple of words, that gets you centered and reminded about your faith in yourself, your faith in your higher power. If you believe in that, really get I will tell you, creating it really inspired me and inspires me when I face things that I come up against that I want to go for or that I am going for, and I feel fearful. I turn to this affirmation, this faith prayer. The only reason I'm not sharing it is because it's deeply personal, but come up with something for you. Again, whether that's an affirmation, a sentence, a word, a passage, a scripture, whatever it is, in those moments, turn to that faith. Ego is the enemy. Faith is your friend. I felt like, again, it's something I'm going through, and I really wanted to share it with all of you. So don't worry, whatever you're going through, practice your faith, especially in those dark times. It's always darkest before dawn, right? Especially in those dark times, or even if you're having a great time, even if things are popping and everything's perfect, there still might be moments, even within that, you might start having imposter syndrome, or other things might come up that make you want to shrink, play small, play it safe. Turn to your faith. Remember who you are. Remember what you're up to. Remember why you came. Remember what your intention is, and turn to faith. All right. So I look forward to chatting with you soon. Just wanted to share that message with you. Hopefully it resonated with you. It made sense, or maybe it's even a message that you needed to hear so you can share it with someone else. So let's make sure to share this positivity as much as possible. We can all use it right now. All right. So thank you so much for listening. You know, I appreciate you. And until next time, you know what to do. Go out there, focus on faith, and create something sexy. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care.